When you first look at Norway on a chart or on a map, it looks quite daunting. There are a myriad of rocks and reefs, and it looks absolutely terrifying. But once you get there, you realise that the Norwegians have been sailing this water for thousands of years. So all of the rocks are very well charted. All of the channels are really well marked. And there's a couple of different routes that you can take. So the first route you can take if you're travelling the Norwegian coast is what's called the offshore route, and basically that's just offshore, just travelling up the coast offshore, out of reach of any of the land. So the opposite extreme is what's called the inner lead, and the inner lead tracks up the coast, mainly of the mainland and a few islands. It's very well protected, it's very well marked. And there are only one or two places on the whole of the coast where you need to actually come out to exposed water. The most famous of which is the Peninsula Stad, and another one that's often mentioned is Hustadvika. And then apart from those two options, you have all of the outer leads. So that's in between the inner lead, which sticks close to the mainland, and the outer offshore route. There are a lot of other passages and channels and sounds between islands, and again very well marked, and they take you to some fantastic places. And so they're known as the outer leads, and there isn't one outer lead, there's a whole different range of them, and you can take them in different places, and you can kind of pick and choose depending on what you're trying to achieve. Once you get past that initial kind of shock and fear of looking at a chart of the Norwegian coast, and you start actually picking your routes through it, it's a fantastic place to explore. So what we've mainly done up to now is mostly the kind of inner leads, the well protected areas, but we've got some really good settled weather. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some of the more outer leads, and we're going to have a look down the more exposed and outlying islands and find a route through them. So once we get out of Rørvik, we're going to head out to an island called Norøya, which just means the North Island. And that'll be our first port call, and that'll get us out into the outer islands, and then we're going to work our way down from there. And the big one that I'm looking forward to is called Halten, and that's right out, it's like 15 miles off the coast on its own, at the kind of northerly end of a row of islands. But they do t-shirts there, and I want a Halten t-shirt. So that's my main reason for going there. Apart from to explore it and have a look, I want a t-shirt. Empty. Another empty island. You can't reach the gutters, but I don't care.
finally we have the Holy Trinity. We have sunshine, we have wind, and we have direction. Full sail, no engine, averaging 5.5–6 knots. We're headed to Halten, one of the islands in the outer leads. So we've come away from the shore for a little bit of a sail, and we've got a 50-mile leg, beam reach, kind of 15 to 17 knots, and we're under full sail, and she's doing very nicely, holding 7.5 knots. Coast over there, so we're about 15 miles off the coast, and we're out beyond all the islands and the shallows, so we can just keep straight course and just fly along. And there's the ship's monkey behind, hanging onto the monkey bars. This is the remote island of Halten. Someone drying their mankini. we leave Halten and make our way down the long chain of islands, heading for the island of SULA, where we will spend the night. This is the more complicated setup for foggy weather. When you need two screens, you need the radar and the plotter at the same time. It's very brave. Oh, go on, go on, go on.
In cup tea?
We met a number of groups of Eastern Europeans who had come over to Norway on coaches with towed refrigerated trailers, and they were all fishing. They're all allowed to take 20 kilos of fish back out over the border. So they all come over, they rent a holiday house, and they just fish until the whole time, and then off they go back home and on the bus with 20 kilos of fish each. We didn't manage 20 kilos of fish, but we got enough for dinner. Finally we can see through the fog.